Next speaker is Josefine Wahlberg, and she is the founder and CEO of Jiddr, and has a very, well, I was very inspired by your story, how you came up with actually starting up this, and how it, all started from your passion of helping, the teenagers in Sweden. So let me get this up, and you can sit here or stand, but whatever you prefer. But I'll hand over the mic. Please, a big round of applause for your speaker. I would love to thank Josefine again. We were supposed to have a geek girl here. Some of you might be here for geek girls. Sorry. She's not so geeky, really, not geeky. Works with technology, anyways. But we had a last minute cancellation, and I was so happy when I asked you, and you said, yes, of course I'll come to Night of Impact, only like 2 days ago. So once more, round of applause for
So I'm Josephine, and I'm the founder of Jiddr, which is Sweden's first talk app for teenagers. The reason I started this was because I was working on a company developing a talk app, but then for TV. At the same time, I was playing an online game, and this is the embarrassing part, talking to grown-ups, but anyway. On an online game where I met a lot of teenagers. And to start with, we were talking about the game and like who to attack tonight and stuff like that. Directly when they realized that I was a grown-up and that I was listening, they started telling me about panic, anxiety, suicide thoughts, problems with girls, and just stuff like that. I was like, whoa. But anyway, so I've been sitting there for over 4 years, like every night, chatting to those guys, it was like 95% boys, about their problems. And I've been asking but come on, don't you have a grown-up to talk to? Like my husband started to complain a bit when I was chatting every night. And it's always the same answer, like grown-ups don't have time. And I was like, but call please! But it's like such a serious thing, to pick the phone up and call police and say, hi, I have a problem. So I was like, okay, so just keep chatting. But then I was thinking come on, here we have this awesome app, talk app. And here we have so many kids that don't have anybody to talk to. So maybe there's something there. So I did some more research on how does it look in Sweden for teenagers. And I discovered that over half of all the teenagers in Sweden feel that they don't have a grown-up to talk to. 1 out of 4 kids have psychological ill health, and out of those, not even half are searching for help or seek help for that. So I did a presentation that I sent out to 100 organizations that are working with kids to say do you think this is a good idea? And I thought that maybe 2 would get back to me and said, hey, yeah, this is crap, or, sure, go for it. And I got a reply from 8 to 6 of them saying, yeah, when can we come and talk? But whoa, maybe there's something here, I should do this. So, I basically just quit my job then and started developing this. Very, nearly directly, we got funding by for this by Vinnova. And I also got a place in an incubator called CSES, where we're working with social entrepreneurs, which was a great help. So what is Jiddr then? So it's a talk app where you actually talk, not chat, where up to 50,000 kids can log in at the same time and talk to one grown-up. We now have over 400 grown-ups signed up. Everything from the police to Barnumsman and a lot of celebrities, sports heroes, sex therapists, authors, psychologists, and so on. Everybody that are logging in here when this host is talking. And then they can ping this host, the host is the grown-up, if they want to ask something or comment. And the host then hands out the word to the kids. So it's a bit like holding your hand up in a classroom. You want to ask a question, and then they hand out the word. You can also speak in smaller groups with up to 10 kids that can talk with each other. And that's a lot because if you, for example, grow up in a family with addict problems, which every 5th child in Sweden does, I grew up in one of those families, one of the biggest problems is who to talk to, basically, and that you feel so alone, and that you feel that you are the only one in like the entire school who have a problem like this. And then then we know that like every 5th child in Sweden have it, or live up during those circumstances. And then to be able to talk to other kids in the same situation is like so powerful. So yeah, that's one thing we want to do. What we have done now is that we have created a beta version of the app that is out in App Store and Google Play. And we've been testing it now for, I think, 4 months with a lot of kids, and they all love it. One of the problems, or like not problems, but the things I hadn't expected was that I thought kids would only sit in the evenings and talk after school. Yeah. I get an email every time somebody logs in on Jiddr, and I got emails all the time, like the entire days. So I was like, come on, programmer guys, there's something wrong here. So I started I just logged in during the days, and it was like, bam, 250 kids just showed up and was like, oh my god. So I was sitting for like 8 hours every day, and I'm not supposed to do this, but I did anyway to test. Like talking about, Twilight, movie shows, unicorns, schools, like everything. And then I was like, oh my god, I can't do this. I was like, oh, so we are now like talking to like Skolverket and all of those guys to actually get some support for the kids also during school hours. There are so many kids that have just anxiety, they have nobody to talk to on their breaks and stuff. And also when you come home from school, it's like really big problems with them being alone. Yes, but we are now then also developing a new version where you can also text. And this is not the kids who are demanding this, it's all the grown-ups who have decided that kids only want to text, because that's what we have found out. Like, no. But what we have discovered is that the reason why kids don't feel like lifting the phone and calling somebody is because you actually have to lift the phone and call somebody and say, hi, I have a problem. Whilst with us, you can just like log in and you're like there. You don't have to take that big step, which is apparently a big step. Which is something that now they're like, whoa, we can talk to each other. That's like awesome. But still, a lot of grown-ups don't think that. So we are now also adding text. And another thing we're adding in the next version is a mood bar. So that you can, when you are in a topic, you're talking about, I don't know, football, then you can say like, how do you feel right now? Are you sad? Then it's like a blue color. And are you happy? Then it's like a red color. This is a lot because then the grown-ups that are hosting this topic can see like, wow, now kids are like really sad in here, so I better like talk a bit supportive, for example. And also it gives the kids something to do. And the colors will then, I mean, God, this is so advanced, I'm sorry. It goes spinning up on the thing. So we will then change the background of the app according to how the kids feel. Why I'm telling you this is because that's one of your challenges later. It's also, I mean, it's fun to use this cool technology. I always only go on to the fact that we are doing this as a social thing, but we are actually using a really advanced technology. A couple of weeks ago, I went and met with a department of Ericsson, who a couple of years ago did the same thing, but around gaming. They were 10 full-time programmers with Ericsson's entire resources behind them, and it took them 4 years to create what we have done, and they didn't actually get it out to the market. So I didn't feel as bad then when it's taken us 1 year with our limited resources. The kids are also very happy to try out new technology and to like talk about feelings and stuff in an app. Grown-ups are not as okay with talking emotions and stuff via a mobile app. That's also one of our challenges to actually get grown-ups to. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm going to start blogging next week for Internet World on what we're doing and stuff. So if you want to follow us, what we're doing, you should start following us there. Yeah, well, I really look forward to hearing your what you come up with during the challenges later. So, are there any questions? I'm so dizzy all this. I don't know how I managed to lead a company.
One challenge then?
No, you get 2 challenges, but I guess I'll challenge.
Yeah, I have them after this. I'll show all the challenges to all of you, so you can make up your mind what you would like to do. But ask questions about Jiddr or
I have a
Josefine.
question.
Yes.
Why is this different from? Is it not just Facebook for depressed people?
No, it's like we're going to have a schedule with different topics. So let's say it's football at 4 o'clock. My parents have alcohol problem at 5 o'clock. How to be a lawyer at 6 o'clock. And then we have different experts within those areas that are going to come and talk. So, like how to file a police report. Then we have the police there talking about it. And there's actually talking. So it's like a mix between a radio show and a conference call.
But did I understand right that all these people that are actually listening, these young people and these experts, are when these young people, these youth are talking, are everybody listening to them? Or are they, communicate with this expert by themselves? Like everyone can listen to the expert but not to each other?
No, everybody here.
Everybody.
The
so
question.
It's a huge conversation.
Exactly.
Okay.
But so, you have to, of course, be given the word to be able to hear. Otherwise, we would have like 50,000 people in there talking at the same time. Wouldn't work.
Okay.
So it's like one at a time, but everybody hears the question.
Okay.
But when you are in the smaller groups, then it's only the 10 people that are in there.
And you are anonymous?
Yes, we're anonymous.
Is there one running right now that we can look at?
You can look at the beta version on Jiddr in App Store and stuff. There are no topics open at this moment, but you can see just a list of cards.
You talked about adults. Is this sort of a new version of it aimed at adults and adult problems,
I'm sorry, is it the version of?
You mentioned adults. Is this will there be a version for adults and where adults can discuss problems as well?
Not yet, but
Okay.
maybe we should get one.
So the piece, why do adults want texting, the ability to text and
No, it's because we have adults that are coming that are like experts within different topics.
Okay.
So it's adults who are there answering the questions.
Okay.
And they are very keen on that the kids should be able to text them questions and not actually speak them.
Who is paying for this? And if you're still funded by public money, who do you think could or would or should pay going forward?
We have now got funding from Vinnova, and we have won a lot of business competitions and like Stockholm Innovation Stipendium stuff where we have got money, and we have got a lot of stipendiums and different things. Who will fund this later is we have a lot of different communes, for example, where they have done research and seen that 80% of the kids in their commune don't feel they have anything to say, for example, or like they don't listen to them. So a lot of communes are very eager to go in and use us as a platform for them to talk to kids, and they want to pay us a lot of money for doing that. We also have a lot of companies that want to come and talk in the app. Like we get a lot of questions about how to be a lawyer or what it's like to work as a journalist and stuff. And lawyers and journalists and other business people are very happy to come and pay, or like pay us to actually be able to come and talk. Of course, they're not allowed to do any like advertising and stuff, but they get to come and just talk about profession. And that's one thing. And yeah, there's some other things that we are developing where we can also get money.
Sorry. One last question over there.
If I'm a kid and I'm too scared to call the police or the police and ask a question, why is it easier to call there when there's like 20 people listening? I can get it if you're studying or something, maybe that's fine, but if you're actually hearing.
What we are doing now is that we are 1 week before the topic, we have opened a formulaire form on both in the app and on the website where you can ask questions, for example. So kids can email there and just ask, and we're gonna put them together so that the grown-up host gets the question and can prepare and can answer them in the app. As I said, we are now also adding that you can also text the questions if you don't want to ask.
But are the kids speaking or just the people answering?
The kids can both speak or chat, so it's both. So was that answer to your question? Yes, I think. Because the difference from like calling is that you don't actually have to actually lift your phone and have this one-to-one conversation where it's like there is that step of saying, hey, I have a problem. You can just log in and start talking. It's not up to you to actually fill the conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Josefine. Big hand. How about we start with your two challenges? So please pay attention now. You will have the whole break that's coming up to think about this and kind of think about what challenge do I want to commit my time to tonight. But you have two challenges you'd like to share. I've written down really briefly so you can give a bit of background on them.
So first of all, we are not an ideell förening, we're an actual company, meaning we cannot use other organizations like Volontärbyrån and stuff to get people to help us. But of course, we are in a big need of having volunteers helping us. So I don't know where to turn to get those or how to do to attract people to actually come and help out. So how do we do that? And I know that other companies also have, like you guys also have the same problem, so I'm sure that there's a lot of other people that would also be interested in hearing thoughts about that. And the other one is, how we can use the new app feature. Like I had an example, this is only an example, but we could do like a collaboration with, for example, Globen, where we would take the colors of like how kids feel right now and color the Globen with them to make a big media campaign. Would be like both Globen gets attention and we get attention and we get kids to use us to actually color the Globen. Some campaign of how we can use those mood colors would be very interesting.
One really quick question.
What kind of volunteers are you talking about?
For example, like help testing, help developing new features, we need a lot of moderators. We have done this thing now with a lot of psychology students where they are helping us moderate the topics, but we will also need more volunteers doing that. For example, that kind of thing.
I think we need more questions and everything when it comes to these challenges will become way clearer when we start working with them, because there will be background information and Josefine will be there to help out and answer your questions. So one about recruitment, basically, how do you recruit volunteers, and one about campaigning and marketing. So if you're interested in either of these topics and really want to help you out, you have to choose one of these. Yes, thank you. Big hand.